guys all set?
Let's do it.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are pleased to be joined today by TRD President David Wilson and TRD USA General Manager Tyler Gibbs. As announced earlier this week, David has officially confirmed his upcoming retirement after 35 years of service to TRD and over a decade as president of the organization. Through his tenure as president, David has overseen the first NASCAR Cup Series championship and Daytona 500 wins for Toyota, along with many significant wins and titles in the NASCAR Xfinity and Truck Series, NHRA, Formula Drift, ARCA, IMSA, and many other motorsport series across the country. The Virginia area has special importance to David as he is a graduate of Virginia Tech. Tyler Gibbs is also joining us today as he will assume the title of TRD USA President later this year. Tyler has worked for TRD since 1996 and currently serves as General Manager of TRD USA, working closely with Toyota Motor North America, overseeing race team and driver partnerships across all motorsports series that Toyota and Lexus compete in. Also in the room, we're pleased to be joined by many of our teams and drivers who are competing here this weekend, as well as a few people on the computer here as well. Before we open up to questions, David, we'll start with you. Can you just talk about your retirement decision, and what your longstanding successful tenure at TRD has meant to you?
Well, first I'll say that I think I know how Martin Truex Jr. felt a few weeks ago. I'm generally pretty comfortable after all these years sitting up here and talking to this group of people. But I'll admit I'm not today. I'm a bundle of nerves, and yeah, here we are. I'm looking out at the crowd, and I'm trying not to actually go around the room because I know I'll just get emotional. But the support to see so many people here that I care about, so many friends, means the world to me. The past couple of days have been completely overwhelming. The kindness and the generosity that has come my way is truly been special and remarkable, and it's been wildly uncomfortable, wildly uncomfortable, because I come from a place where we celebrate the team and not the individual. On my very best day, I'm simply a reflection of this team, TRD and Toyota. The accomplishments, they're not my accomplishments, they're our accomplishments. And so for that, I am so grateful and I'm so proud. But it's time. It is time to hand the keys over, and I am so proud of this guy that's sitting next to me. And there are so many parallels to us coming up through the company for years. I enjoyed kind of toiling in the background, and I would be kind of that guy behind the scenes, and somehow, some way, 10, 11 years ago, I was thrust into this spotlight, if you will, and it really does seem like just the other day. But Tyler Gibbs, no relation, will be great for our company, will continue to be great for our company. He's incredibly well deserving of this, and as a friend, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so happy for you.
And Tyler, what does it mean to you to be following in David's footsteps?
So we were in Washington, D.C. on Thursday, and one of the things that we were talking about after the meeting that we had was we were both a bit uncomfortable with the release and just the amount of congratulations that we received and the number of people that responded. And so I'm going to apologize to Dave that I'm going to add a little bit to that. When people, particularly in this room, know or hear about TRD and hear about Toyota, they picture Dave. Dave is synonymous with TRD and Toyota in this garage and in our sport. And those are some really big shoes to fill. I am humbled to be in this position. I am excited about it. I think back when I got to TRD. TRD was a grown-up organization. When Dave started at TRD, TRD was 10 years old. We were a speed shop, and you could buy some performance parts that you could put on your car, and we'd even install them for you if you needed us to. We were getting into off-road racing, and we were getting into sports car racing in America, but we were pretty new at this whole thing. And when you look at TRD and where we are now, the things that we can do and the things that we get to do and the things that we've done over the last 35 years, Dave's fingerprints are all over all of those things. Pam mentioned some of the accomplishments, but there are many off track that people don't see and don't know that have built our organization into what it is. And so, again, to be able to step into this opportunity, I shared with a number of people this week, it's a privilege to lead a team like we have at TRD. The team that Dave's built over the last 35 years, again, giving us incredible opportunities week after week, day after day, is really just a humbling experience. And so we as a team are going to continue that tradition of success that Dave has built.
Thanks. We'll open up to media questions. Al?
Al Pearson, Auto Week. David, a lot of us in this room have done this for a long time, some much longer than others. Some in this room, including me, are struggling with the idea of retiring. What was it that you saw, or what tipped you to the point where you said, okay, I've done all I can do, or what got you to this point? Because I need to get there too.
Well, it starts really by being in a position where you comfortably know that you can step back and the team will move forward. And I've known for years, honestly, that Tyler's the guy. He's so much smarter than I am. He has a work ethic of an absolute animal. And so, again, it just started by just having a level of trust and comfort that we are going to keep moving forward. The other side of it, Al, is simply it's the clock. I turned 63 this year. There's some family circumstances that have played their way into it. My wife and I adopted our two grandsons, so at 63, I'm changing diapers. I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at home, and those boys need me, and I need them. And there's some parallels with friends in this room, with friends in the industry that I've made through that. And so, again, I'm at peace. My heart is full, and while we're all here, we're all wired to be competitive, and we're still here because of what we do on track. Many of my close friends have heard me more recently talk about what fuels my soul and what I will be most grateful for. And it's not you're not going to find it in a box score. You're going to find it in the hearts of these people, and the relationships and the trust and the love that I've developed for so many people in this garage. I talked about Tyler and I talked about the attention, and sometimes you lose sight of how many people you have touched over the years, and to have not only industry folks and NASCAR and teams, but competitors, my friends from Ford and Chevrolet, to reach out, and I like to think that Toyota's entry in the sport is left a mark, and that our sport is stronger for it. Not me, but Toyota, and the relationship and the professional relationships that we have with our competitors might seem strange, but I'm as proud of anything because we all share the same goals we can work together to help make our sport better. And that's the way it should be.
Jordan?
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. This question is for both of you. You kind of touched on this, David, but what do you think is your lasting legacy as you step away?
It's pretty simple. I'd like to, again, believe that TRD is better than when it was when I got here, and I'd like to believe that our sport in Toyota's position in our sport has left NASCAR in a better place. Again, coming back to when we entered 20 years ago, we didn't have a relationship with the sanctioning body, and we didn't have certainly a relationship with our competitors the way we do now. And so much has changed. I'm proud of the way the competitive model that Toyota brought to our sport. We've changed the way the sport goes racing, and I love that. And so, but there's a lot that I'm really happy about and proud of.
And Tyler, what do you think David's lasting legacy is?
Honestly, you guys will know a few of them just in terms of our team members that you get to work with here at the track. But on Tuesday, Dave shared his news with our team members, and the response from our team members was incredible. They recognize the opportunities that Dave has provided for them, and so for me, it's TRD. It's our team. It's the people. Dave's impact on TRD will go far, far beyond when he decides to walk out the door in December. But for me, it's that. His legacy is our history. It's our people. It's our team. It's the culture that we have. It's Dave's humility. It's his competitive nature when he stands in front of our team members each week and talks about the different things that happened over the course of the weekend, what's happening in our business. He is sharing with family, and so there's a huge element to that. And I appreciate some of that can come off as cliche. I certainly don't mean it to be that way, and I don't think our team members would at all take it that way. Our team members, if they were listening to this, would identify very, very personally with that. So,
Go up to Bob.
Bob Pockers, Fox Sports. David, what would be your advice to Tyler?
Oh, that's a good one, Bob. There's not much advice I can really give. Tyler is so ready for this job, but I think he has come to appreciate as well what I have come to appreciate, and that is that we're given this a tremendous privilege, this opportunity to lead, and never forget that you are just the point person. You're this part of the iceberg that sticks out of the water, but there's a tremendous group of people behind you. But again, Tyler knows that. The other side of it is more personal. This vocation that we've chosen, and I can look at everyone here and they know what I'm talking about. The vocation we've chosen is tough. It is a grind, and you have to take care of yourself mentally more than physically, and so again, I think Tyler is very balanced in that regard, and he's going to be just fine.
And Tyler, have you ever thought about changing your last name or having a stage name so that there's no confusion?
So here's my line, Bob. I'm not related to Uncle Joe, is what I'm going to tell people, just to get them even more confused. But I've been at TRD 28 years. I get texts for Ty on occasion, and so we swap back and forth. But outside of that, we're good.
Go here to Nate first.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. I have two for David. At the risk of asking this to someone who just said you're a bundle of nerves and emotion, but you mentioned that whirlwind of the 2 days after the announcement. Was there one message or something that stuck out in particular that really touched you?
So there were several, and most of them are personal, but I'll share one, and I don't think Joe will mind. So I got a text message from Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs, by the way, he texts, he communicates the way we all communicate, and it was literally one of the first ones, and he simply said, "I miss you already, Joe," and it about made me cry. Joe and I, you've heard Joe before, but we have this ongoing kind of joke, like we're going to write a book, right? And we talk about the chapters in that book, and we'll get through something, and we're like, "Yep, that's another chapter," and yet the and again, Joe and I talk about this industry, the competitive nature. You're always fighting something, and the folks that can get through that can endure the battles and come out the other end, they become closer for it. I love Joe, and I spent some formative years in Northern Virginia, and came into the sport like there's no way I'm working with Coach Joe Gibbs, and so that was one that just stuck me right in the heart.
And when you're done with all of this, I think I've got this right. You all have done 18 seasons in your tour of duty in the Cup Series. So from those 2 decades, like, what's the biggest thing you saw change in NASCAR from 2007 to 2024? And looking forward, like, what do you think maybe the biggest challenge or the biggest thing that you need to look at on the horizon is?
Well, as you know, coming at it from the OEM level, I think there's a couple of things I mentioned before. The way we compete, the tools we bring to the racetrack. I want to say, we have moved the needle, but I think more importantly, the participation we have as a stakeholder in the sport. Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, the relationships that we have with each other, and the work that we do collaboratively to advance our sport. 20 plus years ago, I don't think that existed. And so, we're competing for space. We're competing with many other forms of entertainment and sports. And if we're not continually working on advancing our sport and bringing new fans to the racetrack, then we're going to fail. We're going to fall behind. And so, I personalize it to the OEMs because that's who we are, but it's not just us, obviously. It's the teams in that collaboration, and the drivers, how they work together, again, for the betterment of the sport. It's just, on the whole, seems a lot more collaborative than when it was 20 years ago.
Back over in the back there.
Steven Sykes, Live and Global Media. First off, thank you very much for all what you've done for the racing. Personally, I'm sad to see you go professionally. UVA grad, wahoo, so you can go. What does leadership means to you in respects towards younger drivers of the teams? Because you've seen many years, you've been a gold standard and what others have tried to follow. What does leadership look like to you in respects towards today and other young drivers?
Leadership is certainly a bit of an intangible. The position doesn't come with an entitlement of respect. that is something that is there or not, that is something that is earned. Again, in terms of my own sense of accomplishment, I probably more important than anything else is I want to believe that I treated people, whether they were friends, whether they're competitors, with kindness, with respect, with compassion, and so that, I think that's a big part of being a leader. In terms of the TRD team, you can get into a little more, a granular level, but I certainly learned early on in my career. Came to work as a young engineer. I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't. I was. I'm so proud of that mechanical engineering degree that I have from Virginia Tech and the relationship I have with that university. They've been so kind to me, but I was not a bright shining star in their list of alumni. And I came to appreciate, again, just when I left, I went straight into the service, and I learned, as a platoon leader, that unless I have the support of my platoon sergeants and my squad leaders, I was doomed to fail. And I took those lessons everywhere I've been, and I've surrounded myself by capable people and people that were instrumental in shaping a culture and a commitment of excellence, and that's a little bit of my view on leadership.
Go over here.
Michael Massey, front stretch. David, nice hat, by the way. Do you still want any to be involved in racing in any kind of capacity, or are you going all in on the raising kids?
So I love what we do. I love racing. I love all forms of racing, and I'll continue to be a fan. And I'll come back to the track on occasion, probably far less than you would expect, because the reason. Well, let me qualify. The reason more often than not that I will come back is for the people. It's not for a quote unquote race. I've been to enough races. I've been to enough racetracks, but it's the people that I'll come back to visit with and to see. But in the immediate future. So just to be clear, I have 128 days in office left. I don't do lame duck well, and the irony is of those 132 days, I'm on the road 70. So
We'll go to Deb here.
Deb Williams, Auto Week. David, will miss you. Tyler, welcome. And we'll enjoy talking to you about TRD. 2 questions. One, David, have you even stopped long enough to give a thought about what it's going to be like when we start 2025 and you're not having to worry about Rolex 24, you're not having to worry about the Daytona 500? Have you even thought about that yet?
Tyler and I talk about this a lot, and I'm sure for many of you in this room, you go through the same emotional hurdle. You have to cross a hurdle when you get up on New Year's Day or the day after. You have to be prepared to strap it back on and get after it. Usually we're on the road by the 3rd or 4th of January, heading somewhere, and what I've come to find more and more difficult is getting myself mentally prepared for that. And now, again, leaving my 2 grandsons, my 4-year-old is like we're tight. I mean, he's my buddy, and he gets upset when I leave, and that That's hard. It gets harder. Thank goodness for technology. But come, the first of next year, it's going to be surreal. I don't know. I don't know how I'll handle it. My wife is a little terrified. Had a test run with COVID. I was kind of, there's a little silver lining there, and I found out that not getting on an airplane for like 2 months or whatever it was, I didn't miss any of that. And I loved being home with my family. I really did. So it doesn't mean that there won't be moments like I need to get on an airplane, get the frick out of here. But I'll figure it out. I'm comfortable.
Okay, and kind of on a different wavelength, with the two of you working together and working through this transition period, you actually went into the 2 weeks off with 4 engine issues. Have you figured out what were those, what caused them, and also do you feel that you've solved the issue going into this 14-week stretch?
We were having such a nice time, Deb. Really?
That is a Kelly Crandall question. I'm asking for her.
Tyler, why don't you take that one?
So yes, we've dug into each of those individually. They are different issues. We know what caused them, and so from that perspective, we are comfortable as you can be with some of the components involved with solving those problems.
And let me just touch on that, because many of you who were here 10, 11, 12 years ago, you probably got to know me through the crap storm that we were in the middle of, right? That's when I was putting out in front of the media for the first time. It was, I remember, I'll never forget, we were at Phoenix and Kyle Busch's engine failed in warm-up, on Sunday morning, right? Bob Carter's watching from his couch and like freaking out. And so that's how I came again to get to know you all. And one of my biggest takeaways, and Tyler has seen it as well, is never run from your problems and get out in front of it and just be honest. And I had to share some real tough things with you all, and I'm so grateful for the respect and the trust that all of you on this side of the industry have shown me over the years. But Deb, we'll get that stuff sorted, and thank you.
Okay. Chris Powell, Couch Coach Live. David, congratulations on a great career and your upcoming retirement. I know you talked about earlier the impact of Coach Gibbs. Is there any others that have had a profound impact on your career?
Well, everyone in this room on some level has had an impact because the common denominator for the most part is I've been given a level of trust and in time, and so there's not too many jobs where you have that, but just to focus more at home and my the parent company Toyota Motor North America, who enable us to do this and who decided that we should race in this sport. They have, our top management have given me, given my team the latitude and the freedom to build what we've done in this sport, and that's such a luxury, and it comes because they have a trust, because you have a track record, and that's been amazing. But the people that I've worked with over the years, Bob Carter, who retired not too long ago, Ed Laukus, my last boss, again, who retired a couple of years ago, both played a significant role in me my team having the success that we have. But again, looking more at this team here, and looking at the things that bring me so much pride. But it's working with, helping be a part of bringing new organizations into our sport. What we did with Furniture Row racing back in the day, just off the charts. Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan putting their trust in Toyota to make a big bet in the sport. It's breathtaking. Having Jimmy Johnson cold call you and say, "Hey, I want to come out to California and have dinner with you." To be working with him, it's hard to put in words, but certainly all of those people have played a tremendous amount of influence, and I care so much for each of them.
All right. Thank you so much, David and Tyler.
And just one more thing, Liz. I'm not, or Pam, I'm not going on a retirement tour. There'll be no gentlemen start your engines. We're going to put a bow around this. You can start asking the hard questions next. But thank you again.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.